Imagine unlocking your full potential with a single decision. And I'm talking about your potential in terms of your business and your life. In today's video, I'm talking about how SOPs, or standard operating procedures, changed my business and my life. It turned it from chaos into a simple path to success and freedom. If you're new to the channel, my name is James Eardley. I've generated £1 million worth of sales through my dropshipping and e-commerce business so far. And with this YouTube channel, I bring out weekly videos to show you how you can do the same and talk about the lessons that I'm learning every week. So, what are SOPs, or standard operating procedures? They are processes that your business follow in order to generate profit consistently. Now, it doesn't sound like the most amazing, exciting topic to talk about, but if you can really nail this and understand it, it can make a huge difference. So what isn't attractive to talk about is the processes and systems that you put in place. What is attractive is the end result that they give you, and what they give you is freedom. It means you don't constantly have to be sat at your laptop, at your desk, at your phone, thinking about your business, working on your business. It means your business runs without you. So you have the freedom to be wherever you want to be, with whoever you want to be with, doing whatever you want to do. So see that as the end goal, and the SOPs are simply the means to get there, but they're absolutely crucial, and I'll break it right down for you. So firstly, we need to think about what is business in general. A business is a process. Quite simply, it's a process that when repeated, it generates consistent money. It generates income for the business and the people that are associated with that business, whether it's the employees or the directors and the business owner as yourself. Now, because it is simply a process, that means that it's a repeatable action that we can learn and do as much of as possible in order to generate as much profit as possible. So as soon as you start to see business as a process and a series of processes that are repeatable, it changes your mindset to think about, okay, what do I need to do today? It changes it into, right, what processes are going on every day that take us from no money at the start of the day to generating thousands of pounds by the end of the day. And that's how you need to start looking at business. And when you look at it like that, you realize that now, as a business owner, your life just got a lot more simple. Because instead of thinking about business as this grand thing that you can't really put your finger on, you realize it's a set of processes no matter what business you run. And if you improve those processes and make sure that you're away from those processes, then you can ensure that money keeps spinning, that wheel keeps going around, and you're not directly involved, and you can make it as efficient and effective as possible. Now, hopefully I've done a good job there of making you realize that although it's not a very attractive topic to talk about processes, if you understand that this is how business works, then you can get to the attractive thing to talk about, which is the end result, which is generating consistent profit, scaling your business, and not being directly involved in the day-to-day at the same time. It's about getting more money for less effort, and that is absolutely possible when you think about the SOPs. So that's how I got to realize that processes were key. I read a book that I'd highly recommend called The E-Myth, and it was a revisited version, and it's by Michael E. Gerber. Go and have a read of that book if you are starting a business or thinking about starting a business, because that made me see businesses as a process that are repeatable, and that really allowed me to take a step back from the day-to-day. So I'll paint a picture for you. Before I realised that my business was a set of repeatable processes, I would wake up every day, and I was in a 9-to-5 job at the same time, and I was running a business as a side hustle. And my 9-to-5 would be completely taken up by my work, very busy, and then I'd get some work in before I started on my business, and I'd work in the evenings and weekends as well. And when I sit down to work on my business in the evening, I had to spend the first 10 to 20 minutes thinking about what can I really work on today to make a big difference. And then I would, because I was unsure about what I needed to do, I'd start taking outside opinions, or I'd go into my inbox, or I'd look at what was going wrong, what were the fires that I needed to put out, and that's where my attention would go. And so it felt like chaos, and it can quite easily feel overwhelming if you're just going from one fire to the next, fighting fires, and not making a big difference to your business. Now, the difference, I read that book and I started to see my business as a repeatable process, and instead I had a clear idea of how my business was running. I knew what processes were in place and what I could do to improve them and make sure I took myself away from that. So with that in mind, and since then, it's been an unbelievable business to run that I've got now in place, because I'm not involved in the day-to-day. and that's come down to processes. So now let's talk about how to put those processes in place. So there's only 2 steps to follow when you create your first process. That is, write down on paper or preferably on a Google Doc what are the steps to every process that you take. And the second thing is to record yourself doing that process. And I recommend using a tool called Loom, so you can record yourself, your face talking about the process, and your screen at the same time. Just 2 simple steps. Now, when you sit down to start recording your processes, start looking at your day and segment each of the different processes you do. And remember, whatever you're doing on your business is part of a process. Nothing stands alone. There's always a process involved in whatever you're doing. So with an e-commerce business that runs with Shopify, which is the business that I run primarily, you're taking orders in, whether you're answering customers or whether you're paying invoices, all part of an overall process. So look at what you're doing within your business or within your life and think about how does that particular step form part of a process, and then start writing down that process. So I'll give you an example. The order fulfillment process is a key process to follow in Shopify, and when you receive an order for your e-com store. So what I would do is I realized the whole process involved. It started with getting an order in Shopify. Then I would send that details of the order to my supplier to make sure they could send the product directly to the customer. Then the supplier would come back with an invoice, we'd pay the invoice, and the next step would be to ask for the tracking information. And then when the tracking information comes, we send it to the customer. And then we make sure the delivery goes smoothly. And then we follow up with a review request. We check in with the customer to see how they're getting on. And I saw this as a full process. That is a repeatable process. We do that as much as we can and we'll make as much money as possible. And so from that, I started to write down first the steps involved in a simple Google Doc. And then I record myself doing the process start to finish. Once you've done that once, you don't ever need to do that again. When you're at a position where you have a virtual assistant on board or somebody else that can help you out, you can put that to one side. Now, this is still applicable even if you don't have a virtual assistant to do these jobs for you, because once you have a process, it's easy for you the next time to understand what to do. You don't have to think about how to do that the next time. You've already got a simple process to follow. Now, that is the whole process of creating your first process. There you go, there's a process that I've just talked about, how to create a process. And if you just keep that in mind and you just push that across all of your different processes that you do on a day-to-day basis, you'll then be able to take a step back and the business will be able to run by itself. And it'll be so much easier to run. So stop fighting fires, start putting processes in place and following those, and also giving them away to different people. But that is absolutely the core to SOPs. From that position now, I now run my business for about half an hour a day is the amount of time I spend specifically on my first e-commerce store, my primary one. And all I need to do with that now is check that processes are being followed, make sure the standards are high, and really just find out how we're performing. And you can get yourself to that stage, and then you've got time to do whatever you want to do for the rest of the day and still scale that business. So it's an amazing place to get to. That's the core of it. I hope you found this video helpful to explain how you can do the exact same. If you like the video, then hit that like button on the video. Let me know if you want me to do more of these style of videos in the future. Subscribe if you want to be part of this community where we're taking ourselves out of 9-to-5 jobs. We are moving towards freedom, and we're building that for ourselves through hard work and perseverance and sharing knowledge on this YouTube channel. So subscribe to come along for the journey, and now look on screen shortly for the next video that I recommend for you to take the next step in growing your business towards freedom and all the success that you're looking for. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.